610, a man came down from a mountain in Arabia, believing he had been touched by something supernatural. He did not yet know what to call it. The first person to give it a name, to say the word prophet, was not the angel. It was not God. It was a Christian, and he never converted to Islam. The cave encounter that founds Islam is recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith number 3, the third Hadith of the entire canonical collection. Let us read it carefully, paying attention to what is in the text and equally to what is not. The angel, later identified as Jibril, appears to Muhammad in the cave. He seizes him. He crushes him. He commands him 3 times. Iqra, recite. The angel then delivers what becomes Quran chapter 96, verses 1 through 5. Recite in the name of your Lord who created. And then the angel departs. Compare this to other prophetic commissions in the Abrahamic tradition. God to Moses at the burning bush. Come now, I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people out of Egypt. The angel to Mary. Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. You shall conceive and bear a son. The angel to Zechariah. Fear not, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard. In every case, explicit commissioning, explicit naming of mission, a divine voice that identifies the recipient and assigns the role. At Hira, this pattern is broken. The angel acts, he does not commission. The angel commands, he does not name. Muhammad himself, in the immediate aftermath, did not know what to make of it. According to the same hadith, he feared he was possessed by a jinn. He considered ending his own life. He fled the mountain. No one, not the angel, not a voice from heaven, not Muhammad himself, had yet uttered the word prophet. Muhammad ran home to his wife Khadijah. She covered him. She comforted him. Her words, the first words spoken by any human in response to the encounter, are preserved in the same hadith. Notice what Khadijah does and does not say. She does not say, you are a prophet. She does not say, God has spoken to me about you. She offers what we might call a moral inference. From his good character, she infers divine favor. This is consolation, not commissioning, reasoning, not revelation. So we must ask, at this point in the story, who has identified Muhammad as a prophet? The answer is no one. Not the angel, not God, not Khadijah, not even Muhammad himself. Then Khadijah took her husband to see her cousin. Waraqa ibn Nawfal was a Hanif, a pre-Islamic monotheist who had converted to Christianity. According to the same Islamic sources that preserve this scene, he had translated portions of the Christian Gospels into Hebrew. He was, by the tradition's own admission, a Christian scholar. He was elderly, he was blind, and he was about to do something no one else in the room could do. When Khadijah told him what had happened, Waraqa spoke these words, recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari. Here, for the first time in the founding narrative of Islam, a human being identifies Muhammad as a prophet. Not by direct revelation, not by divine appointment, but by analogy, by recognizing in Muhammad's experience the same pattern Waraqa already knew. From Christian and Jewish scripture, the pattern of Moses, the first commissioning of Islam's prophet was performed, in the text itself, by a Christian using a biblical template. And then, perhaps the most uncomfortable detail of all, Waraqa died shortly afterward. He died in his Christianity. He never followed Muhammad. He never said the Shahada. He never bowed in Islamic prayer. The man who first declared Muhammad a prophet was never, by any account, a Muslim. This raises a question that tradition has never directly answered. How did Muhammad understand what had happened at Hira? Perhaps a defender will object. Perhaps Waraqa did not establish Muhammad's prophethood at all. Perhaps Allah had already established it. Let us grant that possibility. The question then changes. Not who made Muhammad a prophet, But how did Muhammad know he was one? According to the narrative itself, Muhammad left the cave frightened. He did not descend the mountain proclaiming a mission. He did not announce himself as a messenger. He sought explanation. First from Khadijah, then from Waraqa. And it was Waraqa who supplied the first recorded interpretation of the event. This is the Namus who came to Moses. Whether Waraqa created the calling or merely recognized it, the problem remains. The founding moment of Islam appears to require human interpretation before Muhammad himself understands what has happened. Why? If Waraqa's declaration was authoritative, if his Christian recognition of Muhammad as the new Moses is what made it so, then Islam's foundational moment was certified by Christianity. The religion Islam later claims to supersede is the religion whose framework legitimized its prophet. The branch validated itself by appeal to the root it now calls corrupted. But if Waraqa's declaration was not authoritative, if a Christian's recognition could not, in principle, have founded Islam, then we must ask, what did? The angel did not commission. Allah did not speak. Khadijah inferred but did not declare. The text records no other voice. The conferral in the founding moment is simply missing. Whether Waraqa established the calling or merely recognized it, one question remains. Why did Muhammad require human interpretation before understanding what had happened? The narrative records the question. The viewer must decide whether it records an answer. Defenders of the tradition will reach for three responses. They deserve to be heard. First, that the angel's appearance was self-authenticating, requiring no verbal commission. But the broader Abrahamic tradition is precisely characterized by verbal commissioning. Moses, Mary, Zechariah, Isaiah, every angelic encounter is accompanied by an explicit naming of mission. Hira breaks this pattern. If self-authentication without commission were sufficient, the criterion collapses. Any powerful supernatural encounter could qualify. Second, that later Quranic revelations confirm Muhammad's prophethood. This is true, but it is retrospective. The question is what established prophethood at the founding moment before any subsequent revelation existed. At that moment, the only voices were human. Third, that Khadijah and Waraqa were themselves divinely inspired in their recognition. But the text records no such inspiration. To posit it is to add to the text precisely what the text omits, and to concede that prophethood at Hira required supplementation by unrecorded divine action. None of these responses removes the dilemma. They only relocate it. Waraqa ibn Nawfal died not long after the event we have described. He never said the Shahada. He never bowed in Islamic prayer. He never made the Hajj. He died as he had lived, a Christian. But it was his voice, and only his voice, that first named Muhammad a prophet in the recorded founding moment of Islam. The tradition that calls Christianity corrupted owes its prophetic identity to a Christian. The tradition that calls Christian scripture distorted recognizes its own prophet to a Christian's reading of that scripture. Whether Waraqa correctly recognized the event or misunderstood it, one fact remains. The first recorded interpretation of Muhammad's experience as a prophetic calling came not from the angel, not from Muhammad, and not from a divine voice recorded in the narrative. It came from a Christian scholar. The question is not whether that fact exists. The question is what it means. The choice belongs to the believer. The Christian belongs to the record. If what we share here strengthens your understanding, kindly like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share it forward so others can find clarity and truth. It costs nothing, just a click, but your support means everything. You are part of this family.